away.
So most of you guys have probably been through a sex education course, learned a little something about anatomy and the reproductive process. But despite the fact that most teenagers do go through that class in high school, half of all pregnancies in the U.S. are unintended. A Pew Research study showed that 47% of women, when asked why they had a child, answered it just happened. So the typical woman in the U.S. wants maybe 2 children, and that's from the Guttmacher Institute, which studies reproductive health. And they show that to achieve that, you have to spend about 3 decades exercising some form of birth control, whether it be abstinence, the birth control pill, the IUD, the patch. And so I'm here to show you why the pill is the most safe, effective, affordable, and convenient form of birth control. 85% of women, within a year span, you have an 85% chance of getting pregnant if you use no form of contraception. And so that's kind of a staggering statistic. And so that kind of just shows why it's so important to use birth control. And it used to be looked at as more of a premeditated sex. It's for sleazy girls, this and that, but now it's seen as more of a responsible action. And it's seen that if you're not ready for pregnancy, whether it be financially, emotionally, or psychologically, it can create a lot of stress in your life. You can experience isolation, stress, fear, and the American Pregnancy Association says that 14 to 23% of women will experience depression. And that's kind of a difficult thing to go through, some hard decisions to make that you may face. And using the pill can mean that fewer unintended births lead to fewer terminated pregnancies. It's about 1.2 million abortions each year. And so for this reason, a lot of women exercise some form of birth control. And the most popular form of birth control in the U.S., in America, is the pill. Out of 62 million women that use some form of contraceptive, 30% of them use the pill. I think the next one, second most common, is tubular sterilization. And so it's common, or it's the most popular for a reason. And that's because it's so safe and so effective. It's 99% effective, and if it's not used regularly, if you don't use it correctly, like taking it at the same time each day, that number is still about 92% effective. And so what it does is it basically stops the ovulation process in your body using estrogen and progesterone. So it stops that ovulation process, and it helps women fit their life. It fits all women's lifestyles. So if you want to have your period once a year, once a season, or once a month, you can decide that you have so much control over your fertility. You can decide when you want to start a family. You can decide if you want to wait until after college, after school. It really gives you that control, that power. And that's why it was such a huge catalyst in the women's in the sexual revolution and the women's movement. The condom is only about has a 14 to 15% failure rate. And so because of that, it's good to have a plan B. It's good to use something else. Condoms are great for protecting you against STDs, but not so great when it comes to actually protecting you as a contraceptive. Cost-wise, when you think about the pill, it's about $15 to $15 according to Planned Parenthood. But what's great, in California, we have a program called Family Pact. And with Family Pact, if you don't have health insurance, or if your health insurance doesn't cover birth control, or if you don't qualify for Medi-Cal, you can qualify for Family Pact. And it gives you no-cost birth control. So these are basically free for any woman who isn't able to afford it or doesn't have access to it. When we talk about the pill, we're also talking about financial success for women. You're talking about, when we look at over the decades, Terry O'Neill was the president of the National Organization for Women, says that in the 1970s, about 30% of women worked, and most of them stayed at home and took care of the kids. Now we have about 22% of women making more than their husbands. And so that can be attributed to the pill. In a study called the Opt-in Revolution, which is a study on gender and contraception and gender income, it found that in the 1980s, the gender gap reduced by 10%, and in the 1990s it was 31%. So really that shrinking, that number can be attributed It gives women that control, it gives women power over their life, it gives them the decision to decide when they want to be a mother, and that's such a big factor in a woman's life. Finally, when you compare it to other contraceptives, when you look at the IUD, when you look at the shot, when you look at the patch can cause skin discoloration. It puts 60% more hormones into your body, so you're going to have imbalance. I know when I used it, it was not pleasant. It also leaves marks on your body if you tan. You might not like it. And with the shot, side effects can include weight gain, depression, and low bone density. Women are already prone to osteoporosis. With the IUD is a small T-shaped little thing that gets inserted into your uterus. There's a chance of it puncturing, 2 to 10% chance of expulsion, and so that can make you vulnerable to getting pregnant. And also, that's a very risky thing. It's expensive. It's $150 to $400, and if you do get pregnant using the IUD, it can lead to miscarriage or preterm birth, and it's just as risky for you to have it removed during pregnancy. So in conclusion, using the pill is safe, it's effective, it's affordable, it's convenient, it's really easy for you to use, and just remember to take when you brush your teeth or something. And that's why it's such a great thing for women to use if they aren't ready to have a baby right now, and allow you to get that time and
all right, thank you.